Hello, this is Trevor. Today we are going to solve this alternative solution to the lab exploiting cross-site scripting to capture passwords. This is in Portswigger's Web Security Academy labs. If you remember in the last video, we did this lab, which is a stored cross-site scripting vulnerability in the comments function. There's a simulated user that will execute our payload after we post it. This time, we're not going to use Burp Collaborator. All right, well, sounds good. And we're going to solve it very similar to how we did the last bonus. Please remember to like and subscribe, comment, let me know how I'm doing. I would really appreciate it. So, like I said, what we're going to do is similar to how we solved the last alternative version. And that is, instead of, sending the credentials to Burp Collaborator, we are going to do session writing, in effect, using the user's session token to post a comment as the victim, using the victim's account with their username and password. And again, we'll base 64 encode that. Then we'll read the comment and decode it to log in as the victim. Sound good? Let's pull up our script. So we want, what is this? It is capturing passwords. So we're going to vim alt solution capturing passwords .py. We're going to start off maybe with the first one, which was right here. We're going to use a lot of the same functionality as this one. First thing I want to do is we don't need collab anymore, so I'm going to remove that. And our payload. So we need to do lots of work here. We want two post IDs. One is the exploit post ID, and the other one is where they're going to post the credentials. So let's name that one. Let's name this one XSS post ID, and this one creds post ID. And let's start off with doing this in one and this in two. If you remember from our two, the first time we did these alternative solutions, we ran into some issues if we ran it multiple times on the exploit multiple times on the same thing. So let's do like 7 here, so we get plenty of room. We can change this to 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 before we need to jump. And I'm pretty sure there is, let's check this, a post 7. There is, let's see if there's a post 8. There is 9. And let's just check 10 just for giggles. Okay, so we'll post the credentials to 10. That'll give us, if we don't get it by 10, there's some other issues going on. All right. We need to blog post comment. So this is where our payload's going to be. So this is our XSS post ID. We don't need this. We'll need to read the creds here. So let me read creds. And we'll need to comment all that out for now. Creds is where we're going to post it. So this will need to be in our payload. Let's look up how we did the alt solution stealing cookies. And we're going to steal some stuff from this one. Get post HTML. We don't need that. Get CS. Oh, we do need this. This is how we're going to post it. Post comment. Yeah. Let's take all of this. And add that here. Let's cut this to down here. And instead of post values, we're going to do post comment. But I don't want to cut that yet. Post values. So post here, we get document.cookie. So in post comment, we want post ID. We want to pass it the creds. So we'll get the creds from here, and let's change this name to get values. And we'll move this stuff to the top. So we write our input fields, then we get the values. We're going to get elements. That looks good. We'll get the creds, and then we'll return creds. I don't know if I remember how to yeah, I do. Okay. We don't need this. Get values, creds, and then we get post ID. So what if we, in here, instead of creds, we told it to get values. Async, this is, no. I don't like that. All right. Down here, we write the input fields, and then we get values. We set this const creds equals get values. Then we post comment with the post ID and creds. That looks good to me. All right. Let's change this const post ID 5. Where we're writing our, this needs to be the creds. So $, creds post ID. That'll get substituted there. We'll write our input fields. We'll get our values and return those. So we'll get them here. We'll write the fields, get the values, and then we'll call post comment with the post ID. Post comment receive the creds. It'll get the CSRF token using this, which calls this to get the HTML of the post ID, and this is where we're reading the creds. And the body, we need the CSRF post ID. We need the comment, which will be just creds here. And so I can just do creds. So this will be substituted for the value here in JavaScript. The name, remember we did a random string as the name. I liked that. So let's grab that and add that here. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. So we need import string, import random. And then we're substituting this via Python. So we need name equals random string. Let's do 20. Okay, that looks good. We'll fetch the URL, which is post comment. We'll post headers, give it URL form encoded, and use this as the body. Set timeout. So I don't believe, so we have one issue here. We need to move this post comment to after in get values. What's going to happen is it's going to write the input fields right away. It's going to see this value, this, and wait to execute this. But in the meantime, it's going to jump down to this line and execute that, which is going to error. So what if we moved this into here? And instead of returning creds, this means we need post ID inside this function. And I don't know if we need to pass it or if, or we could change this to var. This is kind of bad practice, but since it's just you and I, that will make this variable global, which will be read here. So we don't have to pass it because I don't know how to pass arguments in set timeout. I guess we can look that up. Chrome pass arguments to set timeout. I'm going to press callback. This is exactly what I want. Oh, you need an anonymous function as a parameter instead of a string. The latter shouldn't even. Instead of using. Cool. Topic ID. All right. So we can do this with bind and give it the post ID. Let's do that. And we wanted set timeout. So we can change this back, changing word to const and set timeout get values dot bind, right? That's what we decided. Bind with our arguments. Okay. post ID. Post ID. There, that should be good. That means that get values will receive the post ID and it'll be available to call here. Since we moved post comment into this function, I want to define all of these things before, so that they're defined before we use it here. Right now, constant creds. And then we have the creds. We don't need to save it anymore, because we're writing it, we're posting it here. How does this get creds? It gets it right there. Const creds. This is not base64 encoded, but we do not encode it here. Let's encode this. So BTOA. All right, let's go through this one more time. So we've defined a post ID here. This gets interpolated from Python so that we get creds post ID put there. Then we define a bunch of functions. Our first function that gets run is the write input fields. This writes out both input fields into the page, which again are auto-filled by the victim's password manager. Then we set timeout, so we're going to run get values with an argument of post ID in 5,000 in 5 seconds. So get values with post ID, and is that the proper way to bind? They have null topic ID. What was the original function post topic ID? So I wonder if I need that null. Let's do JavaScript bind. Bind method is a new function that when it calls has this keyword set to the provided value with a given sent sequence of arguments preceding any provided the no function is called. So I think with that in mind, I need that null. Yeah, because that's the this. My bad. Bind null. And is it capitalized? All right, let's just give this a shot. Let's finish walking through. So we bind get values with the arguments we want. Wait 5 seconds before calling it. When we call it, we are calling get values, which is defined here. That reads our input boxes or gets those elements and then gets the values from each of those elements, concatenates them, and then calls post comment with both the post ID and the creds. Post comment is here, receives those. It gets the CSRF token, the URL we want, creates a body. We'll look at that in just a second. And then creates that comment. And it does so using the CSRF token, the post ID. It's going to base64 the creds. It's going to take the name, the author of the comment, and that's going to be interpolated with Python, so it's defined here. The email and the website. Woo. Looks good. I like it. So let's see how we did. Base 64 imported and error line too long. That's neither of those are showstoppers. So Alt solution capturing passwords. All we need is this to be alive, and it's not, of course. Come on. There we go. Going to paste that here. What we expect is that we're going to look at post 10. We should see a comment from a random name with credentials. If everything works as expected, it'll take, 5 seconds, but on post 10, which is this one, conveniently enough, so I'm just kind of give it a second. All right, let's take a look. Come on. Hey, look at that. Sweet. We got all of that right. So we've got a random name and we have this. Let's base 64 decode it. Decode base 64. We do still have that administrator user written many times, but we have both username and password separated by the double colons. So let's go here. We need to read the creds, and let's go to our alt solution before and figure out how we. So we did this pattern. That looks fine. Res. Let's take these. All right. And then here, we're going to change this to creds post ID pattern. What does it look like? Inspect section comment. So it does look like what we have will match. And it'll be a capture group. And we need all of this, which looks good. Let's import RE res equals, so it's going to decode it. And then we need, so we can delete this and use this. And we'll change this to creds. That looks good. To me, line too long. So I'm not going to fix that. That error is just going to stay. That looks good. Let's, crap, I think this is going to work. Oh, let's modify this to send our payload to post 2 so we don't run into any issues. Oh, crap. None is not subscriptable. So we ran into this issue yesterday. Let's do this. Creds print resp.text. Suck. I need to change this thing to 3. None type is not subscriptable. There's our username and our password, or there's our name. So, and here's where we're doing name. It's doing dot asterisk name dot asterisk question mark, the next starting P, which is right here, and capturing until the end P. That looks fine to me. Search pattern resp.text flags. None type is not subscriptable. M1 encode. So it's not finding the name. The name is right here. Let's print the pattern. Resp.text. There's got to be something silly. And we made it. And it's giving me same feeling that, I mean, we had the same issue on the last one, the last alternative solution one. I wish I could remember what the solution was. Why? What? Why is this different than this? YT. All right, let's change 5. Let's do log.info. Our random name is name. And just for now, I'm going to do the same thing right here. We need to change this to 6. Oh, crap. We're getting kind of close to that 10 I said made such a big deal out of. That looks right. That looks right. It's not posting. It didn't. So it posted the first few times, but it didn't post the last one. We've changed the XSS every time, but we're still reading 10, right? Yep, get post ID 10, but our credentials are no longer being posted, or maybe they have like a thing where it only shows a certain number of comments. What? This shows all of them. And does it show the one for ATK? It does. Why doesn't ours? Where am I? Right here. ATK. Post ID equals 10. Okay, I don't really understand what's going on here. Get post. Maybe we need to wait a second. No. Blog.post comment. We do need to wait. Right here. time.sleep. We'll do it 8 seconds. Log.info. Waiting for payload to be exploited. Should have seen this before. We do need to wait because this is not going to fire right away. It still doesn't explain why we're not seeing all of them, but that's okay. At least import time. Time.sleep 8. And then it gets blog post 10, which is the creds post ID, which is 10. This change alone shouldn't solve it. I just don't know what else to. R7. Yeah, we did get it. So it was just that delay. And I don't know why we didn't see all of these other comments before, but it's freaking working now, which is awesome. Let's delete all this other stuff. We don't need the random name log entry here, but you can see we freaking got it. That is awesome. And we did it. We got it in before. We did it in 8 tries or 7 tries or whatever, and not 10. That's awesome. All right. I'm going to run it again just to make sure it runs smoothly without errors. We gave it plenty of time to sleep. Crap. So what if we did this? Sleeped again. If none. So, right? Like right here. If M is none. Time.sleep 5. Log.info. Let's do while. Let's really blow this up. While M is none. And let's just sleep for 1 second. So, this could be an infinite loop if we have problems in our code, but I'm pretty sure we don't. Oh, we should get the blog post again. Yeah, something like that. Sweet. And then, yeah, so this could be bad. Let's make sure. I know the sites die pretty quickly after you solve them. We're still alive here. So. I don't like this. We didn't change. I'm reaching for straws here, but we didn't change this one to 9. I don't know what's going on. It's inconsistent at best. here's our random name. So if I could copy that, damn it. Damn it. Copy. All right. Let's go here and look for that. Here's 10. No, it didn't post. Interesting. So why is this so inconsistent? It can't be. So it's definitely not the area that we tried to fix here. It's got to be posting it errors. So let's go to post 9 and check out console. We didn't get any errors. 10. But when we executed it, when we visited, it did execute. So I think the issue is on the simulated user side, not anything we did wrong. If I had to guess, we might want to change up our time out here to like 8 seconds. To make it a little bit more safe. Or lower it to like 3 seconds. What if they close the screen before that 3 seconds? I don't know. That could be one of the reasons it's inconsistent. How many posts are there? We've gone past 10. So is 11 good? Not found. All right. Well, I'm going to pause this video. Wait till this dies. This one, I get timeout on this one. And then we'll come back and see if what changes, what tweaks we need to make this consistent. Okay, we'll see in just a second. Okay, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's see if our lab is dead now. Yes, it is. So let's pull that up. While that's coming up, I did think of one change here. So we want to start over with 1. And I'm going to set the timeout here. So timeout equals, we have JavaScript needs it in thousands and Python needs it in seconds, in an integer. So or milliseconds versus seconds. So I'm going to put 3 here. And then down here, I'm going to put time out times 1000. And then here, I'm going to put time out plus 1. So it'll wait an extra second. We shouldn't need this anymore. I'm going to leave it just for now. And then, if this stuff doesn't work, we can switch this instead of time-based to be on change. All right. We've got this. I think that's the only changes I wanted to make. We're going to Python alt solution capturing passwords, paste that, and then have it go. Yes, that worked. So We had to just make it a little bit faster. All right, and we have it solved now. Boom, solved the lab. All right, let's recap this one. Since it was a doozy. So we wrote our cross-site scripting payload that got submitted into the comment box. There was a victim that visited and executed this. When they executed it, it wrote to the page 2 input boxes, a username and password input box. And the idea is that the victim has a browser or extension or something that autofills the credentials. We took advantage of that by creating these boxes and then reading the values after a timeout. We used 3 in the final solution. So after 3 seconds, it read the values and then used those as the comment body in a post comment to a different blog post. We did that by getting the HTML of the post, converting that to a DOM, something we could read, and then extracting the CSRF token from the form. With the CSRF token, we were able to submit the credentials as a blog post comment. Then in Python, we waited for the timeout period plus 1 second, and then visited the post that the credentials were posted to, extracted those using regex, and then used those credentials, decoded them from base64, and then used those to log in as the administrator user. And then finally, we checked if it was solved. Whew, so that was a lot. I like this one. It would have been smarter, instead of doing the timeout, to do like the on change. I feel like that, instead of, futzing around with this, yeah, that probably would have been a better way to do this, but this worked. And it was fairly easy. So that's it. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Goodbye.